Oh, what up, guys? Bill here, man. And listen, I am continuing this week. I made 3 individual posts talking about team building, right? I spent almost 20 years in the Navy. I own 2 companies. I've had to build teams. I've had to lead. I've been through, so many classes and seminars on leadership. My master's degree is in leadership. Doesn't mean that I'm a leading expert, but it means that I've spent a lot of time focusing on building teams, building businesses, building networks, leading people, individual growth and advancement for people, and making not only myself better, but certainly helping improve those around me through the things that we did. So I made a post this week about the psychology of team building, right? And this isn't something I invented. Along the way, we have mentors, we have people that, we meet that train and develop and coach us along the way. And, while storming, forming, and norming, which is what I posted about this week in 3 separate posts in team building, is not unique to me. Psychologists invented it, came up with it, and wrote an article about it in 1965. For me, it was a gentleman by the name of Senior Chief James Donald. He was my first real mentor in the Navy. I'm 3 years in the Navy. I meet him. I'm working for him as a Navy recruiter. And this guy just had a magical way of pulling out talent in people and giving lessons and talking and training and speaking to people that I really admired. And I kind of latched on to him and just started learning. And he mentioned this just, 1 or 2 times about storming, forming, and norming. And it truly is the basis of team building, and where you're at in that team building process is depending upon what phase of storming, forming, and norming that you're in. So I just want to go over with you all just because maybe you don't know. Maybe your team is doing really well and you're in the norming phase and things are moving along. Maybe you're building a team, building a business, a softball team, an LLC, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever team you're building, it falls along the same basis of storming, forming, and norming. So storming. You come together, you decide I'm going to build a team, you build that team, you build a team with people from all different areas, different cultures, different background, different ethnic, all kinds of differences, and you pull those people together and you say, we're going to build this team. And this person has an idea, and that person has an idea, and this, and this, and this, and all of them come together, and this is where you have to have clear-cut expectations of who is doing what. But during that time, storming will come about. People will push, and test each other. People will, be unsure of themselves. They will, try to do too much. Some won't try to do enough. Some are extroverted and want to get engaged really quick. That's kind of how I am. Some are introverted and take their time finding their way, but they still have things to offer. They're learning, they're seeing, and then others will kind of fall in the middle. So this is where teams come together, and during the storming phase, you may lose members of the team that didn't feel like the way that you were going was for them. You may bring in new members of the team. So the storming phase is really where the melting pot comes together. People figure out who they are, how they're going to work and cooperate within this new organizational unit. And as that phase continues, and there's no real timeline on that, right? Like the storming phase can last just a couple days. It can last months, depending upon if new people are coming in, the size of the team, the strength and the quality of the leader trying to form that team, the culture that is being laid down, the acceptability of what is happening. All of these things can play into the storming phase and how long it lasts and how productive it is. Once the storming phase is moves forward, it moves into the forming phase. This is literally where the ball of the team is coming together. People are figuring out their roles. What does this person do? How is this person leading? Maybe you thought you had a leader, but that person didn't really pan out, and someone who maybe you didn't really see as a leader rises to the top. People are forming into their roles and how they work together, right? Let me, put you in a spot. You've joined a team, and when you first join that team, there may be some arguments, some questions, there may be some rerouting, right? And then that team comes together, and alliances form, and friendships form, and work relationships form, and leaders have to navigate how that forming takes place. So as the team forms, people understand their roles. Leaders lead, managers manage, workers work, and those roles can still change a little bit, but for the most part, people are forming into their job. And as the leader, this is where you need clear and defined expectations of daily tasks, daily responsibilities, weekly roles, and the OJT, on-the-job training and involvement of the leaders has to be spot on at this point. You have to be engaged, because as this team is forming, it has to form with the culture you want, the rules of engagement that you want, the freedoms and responsibilities that you want. All of these things take place during the forming process for you to be able to build your team the way that you want it to be within your culture. And hopefully, you're instilling a positive culture within that, one that builds people up, one that gives people an opportunity for advancement, one that gives people an opportunity to be able to continue to climb that ladder of self-growth, self-improvement, team growth, team improvement, so that everybody on your team, as it's forming, thrives, right? And the final step to that is the norming phase. You are now normalizing. You have your leaders in place. You have your management in place. You have your workers in place. You have clear expectations defined in your work center, on your team, within your organization, whatever level it is. You have clear roles defined so that your team knows what the expectation is, knows how to handle any things that might arise. And then as the trainer, as the leader in this norming phase, you have to continue to build and implement that culture. You have to continue to train. You have to continue to lay down the expectations, because the goal here is your company's going to grow. Your team is going to grow. Your unit is going to grow. So then you've done the storming. You've done the forming. Now you're normalizing, and you continue to carry that team towards success, towards building, towards growth, towards expansion, towards everything that you put that team together for. But that happens with you as the leader, laying down your expectations in the normalizing phase. And then from there, somebody leaves, somebody comes in, you have little parts of storming, more parts of forming, and then it normalizes. It's continually changing and working. So, man, I challenge you as a leader to know what stage of your team building process are you in? Are you in the storming phase? And how are you going to guide your team to go into a forming unit that normalizes into a productive entity? Are you in the forming phase? What leadership do you need to provide? What documentation? What, operating procedures or manuals? What guidance do you need to give your team? And then how do you step back and let your other leaders within your organization gain ownership, gain accountability, gain confidence, responsibility, so that you can continue to level those people up? Because as leaders, we are charged with not only building the team, but guiding the team, elevating the team, and giving the team all the tools and responsibilities it needs to continue to level up. Because You want to go build other teams. You want to go build other units. You want to go build other businesses. And in order to do that, you have to empower people, let go a little bit, and give them the opportunity to thrive as well. So listen, man, that is storming, forming, and norming, team building, and the basic psychology level. And if you can understand what phase you're in, how to guide your team into the next phase, and then continue to build that positive culture and leadership within your unit while helping them raise and develop their own game within the team, man, you now have a productive unit that is formed, that is on its way to greatness and excellence. So that's it, man. That's team building in the nutshell, at least on the psychology part. Within that is hard work, the ability to be able to multitask, the ability to be able to take care of people, understand how to individually lead each person differently. Because even though you formed, each person has to have their own leadership style. You have to be able to handle the team, but then be able to guide, lead, and direct individuals as well. So there you go, man. Storming, forming, norming. Figure out where you're at. Figure out how to move on to the next level and build that ultimate team. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, 704-807-5663. Love to be able to talk to you about team building, about leadership, and about taking your next level step. Y'all have a great day.